let's look at something that Trump posted, because this is so classic Trump. I started to read it to you, but I'm going to read you some of it now. Stupid AOC, one of the dumbest members of Congress, is calling for my impeachment, despite the fact the crooked and corrupt Democrats have done that twice before. The reason for her rantings is all of our victories that the USA has had under the Trump administration. The Democrats they aren't used to winning. They can't stand the concept of our country being successful. And then here's Trump going into his own zone. When we examine her test scores, we will find out that she is, all caps, not qualified for office, but nevertheless far more qualified than Crockett, who is a seriously low IQ individual, or Ilhan Omar, who does nothing but complain about our country, yet the failed country that she comes from doesn't have a government, is drenched in crime and poverty, is rated one of the worst in the world, if it's even rated at all. And I'm only about halfway.
I know, that's about as far as you read to me.
Right, and I think what I find here, you know, what I think is interesting about Trump is that he surfs right in between kind of polemic and comedy, right? Or he surfs right in between objective description and like one-liners. He more recently, he had this post where he was talking about Iran, and he goes, "Those Iranians are really nice." He goes, "They gave me a call and they told me, how about 1 p.m.? Can we drop a few bombs at 1 p.m.?" And Trump goes, "I told them that's about as good a time as any. We cleared everybody out. And so I want to thank the Iranians for having given us this advance notice."
Do you think that was even true?
No, I think it is true. And I think it is true because I think that, I'm not saying that the Iranians like got Trump on the phone, right? But what I'm saying is Trump is obviously like rubbing it in.
Yeah, no, he's trolling them.
He's trolling them.
For sure.
But he's also doing straight stand-up for the American audience. And yet he's also telling the truth. Because what he's saying is that these Iranians wanted to make a pretense of striking back because they didn't really want to strike back, because then we would strike back on them 10 times or 100 times more. And they knew that. So all of this is being telegraphed in this very whimsical type of Trumpian rhetoric.
Gosh, it is.
And what it tells me is that we are living through this era with a kind of gifted comedian in the White House. And we won't have this again. No,
I love when you say that when God made Trump, he threw away the mold.
He threw away the mold. Well, I mean, I've had this sort of deja vu, even with Reagan, when I was sitting back and I was watching the Berlin Wall come down. Now, Reagan by that time was out of office.
Yeah, he was.
But then I look back at Reagan and I was like, we won't see.
But it was his doing.
It was his doing. And I was like, we're not going to see Ray. And I was right, because think of the think of the succession of what came after Reagan.
We've never seen another Reagan.
Yeah, and until Trump, we did not have a figure of Reaganite dimensions. And now we do. And they're very different in many ways, as you know. But Trump is also one of these inimitable characters, like they say. And later we might get a Rubio, we might get a Vance, we might get somebody else,
or a Brandon,
or a Brandon Gill. Maybe not in our lifetime.